Execration, Aureus, probably what people expected to be the final three. But Execration, they've just really blown so many of these other teams out of the water. I think Boom was the first time yesterday that they got tested. And they've clearly learned quite a bit from it, but they've now integrated what they've learned, right? Yesterday, they got absolutely beat down by Naman's Chen because they just couldn't kill anybody. And now they've incorporated it into their own signature formula. You can see how it all sort of is going to play out, right? Their typical timing draft, they want to hit the TA timing at maybe the 25-35 and just crush Aureus under their foot. Do you think that's going to be the case though, Winter?
Well, it really depends on I think the early ancient stacks, right? It's going to play a huge role whether the Sand King gets his stack. Yesterday we saw a game where the Sand King got completely nullified when he didn't really get his stacks, right? And if you look at the lane matchup, Sand King against Queen of Pain, this is probably going to be decided by the Sentry Wars. And if there is no Sentry in the lane, the Sand King is going to be able to play for sure. You can't dodge. You can dodge the Shadow Strike, but if the Sentry is dewarded, the Queen of Pain has vision, the Sand King is probably going to suffer in this lane here. So a lot of small little factors that could come into play. And it also depends on whether they can actually deal with the stacks, right? Can block it with wards. You know, yesterday we saw, who was it that blocked the camps? I think it was
I think it happened. Boom? It happened more than once. It probably happened more than once.
It was Boom against Execration. I think they
it
were.
Might have been. I'm gonna have to go look this one up because
they were really good at blocking the camps. Or it could have been the recording scheme. I don't remember, but they basically blocked the camps from the get go, and the Sand King had a bad matchup, so you can't really recover. So I think those are the factors that you have to really look into. And when you pick Sand King, I think the good thing to do is look at what Aureus is doing right now. They are standing on their ramp with the ancients. They're just making sure that no one is invading to put some deep wards early on.
I mean, even if they do invade and try and push into that area, at least you'll have the knowledge, so you'll come prepared with a sentry or two. You know, you don't end up a lot of the time with like position 4. You want to like make sure you're making the most of your times, right? So you stack, you don't necessarily come back and make sure the stack goes off. You're on to maybe help secure the rune or something like that. Yeah, no such shenanigans here. 2 wards being placed pretty close by to each other by Aureus in the bot side. What do you think this is about?
I think both teams are kind of expecting someone to come and steal the runes, right? So they are placing wards like this to scout it out. They're both kind of doing similar things, but they're going back to the same side. They dewarded. They knew that they had a ward there somehow. I think they just probably guessed them based on their routine every game.
Yeah. A lot of the pre-game routine just gets studied down to a T, and that's kind of what some of the coaches do as well. I remember, not to expose any strats, this doesn't really do or say anything, but as someone who has seen the type of documents that teams prepare, like going to the draft of each game or just prepping for each match, there's a lot of screenshots of just early ward placements at 30 seconds or 1 minute or when the bell like horn rings. So all these teams, you know, you can expect the supports and the captains to be studying that down to a T. The knowledge pays off, an early observer ward, D ward. So there's a chance for the side of Aureus where maybe the Hoodwing ganders down to the mid lane, steals away the water rune, and Bob just doesn't have that information. Early on though, Bob really putting the pressure onto Yopach, who's gone for the Barrow Strike level 1.
Yeah, in the meantime, Warlock actually came over to kill the creep, you know. I don't know if you caught it. The Chang creep was here before the creep spawned. He was ready to mana burn the Sand King a couple of times. Warlock came over, gave him a heal, and helped him kill the creep.
Yopach might be dead, dude. Yopach just gets first blooded. This is the exact same form we've seen Bob in that has brought Execration so far. And he just straight up gaps mid again against Japoy of all people.
I mean, you have stun at level 1, so you don't dodge the Shadow Strike. So I'm not sure what was the idea here, having stun. I guess he saw the mana burn.
Do you think he used stun to kill the mana burn creep?
I mean, he didn't. I don't know. I know that he was using stun in the lane, and then after that he took some creeps, and yeah, I mean, you get the creeps, but you're gonna tank Shadow Strike damage, and eventually he could not sustain you in the lane.
You talk about the sentry walls. You don't need a sentry to spot out a Sand King who's just right in front of you. No levels in the Sandstorm so far. Is this some sort of adaptation for the matchup, or is he just...
I mean, he probably already knows there's no Sandstorm. I mean, I don't know if it's a good adaptation, if any, you know. I mean, without Sandstorm, you're basically gonna have a very, very tough time, you know. Now he's gonna have 1 point, but I expect the Corp to be already ahead on this matchup right now. He has 2 points in the Shadow Strike at level 3, which already signifies that he feels like he can push his advantage.
Absolutely. Queen of Pain notorious for being one of the mid laners that can just snowball out of control really quickly. Give her a couple of kills, she starts getting these power runes, starts getting these rotations. His side lane is going to get ruined very quickly as well. And the concern is there because, like you said, Winter, this Aureus lineup, there's going to be a small point in the early mid game where the Bristleback wants to farm, the Abaddon probably wants to work his way towards the Radiance and doesn't want to participate just yet. It might be hard for them. They could very well get run down by the Execration aggressive timing. Fight for the Lotuses here as Palos starting to get some kills stacked up upon him. CML keeping that mana burn creep away, and Nico positioning very aggressively. Nice bushwhack out of the Lotus pool area. And now Palos, he has to turn tail and run, but can he survive this? 1 or 2 more quill sprays, the refraction comes up. Nico gonna try and commit for the dive for this, turns the back right around and gets himself a double. Clean stuff from Aureus here in this top lane.
Very, very nice the way he actually executed that. He knew that he was able to get a couple of stacks already before the fight began at Lotus. And yeah, I mean, that was amazing to watch.
Yeah, I think more often than not these days we're seeing players position themselves in one of the entrances of the Lotus pool, just kind of to body block anyone from entering. But Tim's such a heads up play, right? Using the bushwhack at what felt like max distance to pull Palos to the right, allowing the Bristleback to just slip on in there. You try and stand around against quills that are stacking up, that's never gonna work out for you.
Yeah, he also had like the divine favor on him, right? So he got a bunch of regen from the stick, you know, but just wasn't able to survive. And now the rune, Bob blinks over, he steals the rune. That is huge, but will he pay the price here?
He's used the blink already, dropping really low here, Yopach, doing the sandstorm damage, but after using all of his spells, doesn't really have anything else left to give. Boom will tank a Shadow Strike.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Boom, boom, Tims.
I mean, the mana
I'm
burn...
still so used to the notion that Tims is in Boom. It kind of, it's hard for me to accept that that team fell apart so quickly.
No,
I miss the Boom Yopach days, you know what I mean?
They had good times.
That's
Sometimes
true.
that's all that matters, you know? Remember the good times, you know? Don't remember the bad times.
Yeah. I remember Boom Yopach. I remember Boom FBZ, man. Look how things have changed with her. It still remains to be seen. Maybe they are just kind of starting out an era of more good times, right? Maybe Aureus is going to be the new household name in Southeast Asia. Who knows?
I mean, right now they are definitely in the I think top 4 best teams in SEA now based on their current form.
Yeah.
I mean, right now based on just what we are seeing on the lanes, Abaddon Natsumi is having a very, very good time with the Warlock just healing him up. I mean, the Warlock is like bouncing between mid and bot, you know. He's going mid to heal the Sand King whenever he sees the Chen coming over with the creep harassing the Sand King. So I think that's like a really good adaptation to dealing with the Chen in the early game. You kind of have to counteract the creep in some way, at least help your mid laner. Now the 6-minute runes are going to spawn. We're going to see both mid laners vibing to get their bottle refilled here. You know, it's so important. They're both kind of low on resources.
Huge stacks being set up here by Tims though in the triangle. Spotted out by CML now. He's going to try and farm some of them away with the Hurricane. Very cool stuff. Still, Tims gets most of those last hits though, and Arcane Rune gonna get stolen away by the Chen, so no mid laner gets a rune. A bit unfortunate. Level 6 first for Bob. They might be gearing up for some sort of an aggressive play.
It's Bob, you know, he's always going to be aggressive.
Yeah, straight onto Scam here, trying to come through to help his mid laner. Ends up tanking a Sonic Wave for his troubles. And that's a nice first pickup for Bob.
That was actually fine, you know, to tank the Sonic Wave there. And they killed the Siege creep. I think this is actually a really, really good outcome for Team Aureus here. A very good death, you know, I would call that.
Right. One of those typical support tactical feed moments. I mean, in the meanwhile, no real laner apart from the Sand King is struggling, right? Tino and Abba, they're kind of trading farm on the side lane. Bristleback and the TA on top lane, even though Palos had that earlier death. TA is still one of the fastest farming early carries just because of that inbuilt farming mechanic, the side blades.
If you leave her alone, I think she is like on par, if not faster than Luna. I think Luna is the other hero that if you really leave her alone, she can really farm very, very quickly. And we see a rotation coming in. Arena
Right
is
before
on
level 6,
5.
yeah, Bob, he is on fire right now, making the shot calls, coming down to the bot lane, taking advantage of the arena. How did that happen? Tino managing to get way more EXP.
It's probably denies. Is it with the denies? Tino he has 17 denies.
Oh my goodness, he has
Natsumi has
17
2.
denies?
Yeah. Most of the time, I would say that the denies don't really matter, but I think in this instance, it matters. I mean,
It actually made the difference for sure.
You'll probably see the stand fire also, giving a lot of solo XP for Tino to just get his level 6 as soon as possible. And another rune top. Oh no, Sand King does not get it. He was worried about using his Power Strike.
It's hilarious that out of everybody, the CML Chen is the one who has the most runes out of everyone in the game. Nice little Snapfire cookie forward. Despite the bushwhack, they'll find themselves another kill. Bob starting the rampage in the mid lane already. And for those of you who are just joining us, or maybe you haven't tuned in to Southeast Asia Dota in a while, you might be thinking, wow, this is a crazy Bob performance. He never plays like this. Well, the past few days, this is a completely different Bob. The discipline is there, the maturity is there. He's no longer making those kind of slightly sussy plays he used to. He's just all over his opponents. And that's gonna open up the triangle for Palos to come in and steal the stack.
This is bad news. The carry is coming in to steal the Sand King stack.
Nico's gonna try and gander over now to try and grab what he can. 1 or 2 Quill Sprays will secure him the last hits, but at least half of those creeps were already mopped away by Palos.
Yeah, this is the stack wars, we've been mentioning about. This is going to be so important for Sand King and Bristleback. I think especially Sand King. Look at the Sand King right now, 2.4k net worth, 9 minutes, no stacks. What is he going to do, Mike?
What he's gonna do is go for the lesser stacks down here in the bottom part of the jungle, but that's about all he can get. The lane has not gone his way at all, and I think credit where credit is due. Execration doing a great job punishing that first pick Sand King. That's something that teams throughout this event so far have been just defaulting to, and I think the strategies surrounding how to deal with it are starting to materialize, right? People know we need to go invade the triangle, we need to win the Sentry Wars, we're gonna pick a Chen and mess him up real good in the early game. It's worked out. Look at the net worth on Yopaj, 2.7. That is tough, man.
Yeah, I think the strategy is to pick Quap to win a lane and to pick supports that can invade the stacks, and you eventually steal them. He has to recover for a very, very, very long time, on the Sand King.
Oh, this Chen looks so annoying. Pumping up the epicenter, gonna try and punish him, but he still does have the Hand of God. It's gonna pop it now to try and survive, but didn't expect Natsumi from the high ground. Meanwhile, the rest of Execration still wrapping around. Maybe we're trying to look for an opportunity, thinking maybe the Sand King was alone. But he has backup in the form of 4 Aureus members right now.
Bob is here. They have to run. He has an AD rune. He is very, very strong.
The Mars doesn't really have a lot of mana. They will drop the rock on top of the Mars. AD rune, like you said, Sonic Wave out, eliminates Scam, but doesn't really finish the job onto Tims. Only tagged him on the tail end there, but they still get the kill on the Mars, use the rock. And overall, even though Aureus brings so many members, I can't help but feel like this is not too bad for them, right? They still get space on Nico farming up top, and they get a lot of space for Sand King, who's recovering in the jungle.
Yeah, and Sonic Wave is down, right? You tank the Sonic Wave again on the Warlock. I think you'll be very, very happy to do that. And Bob meanwhile, TP's back mid. I think this is a good call. He does a bunch of damage with the remaining duration of the AD rune to the tower. I think once this tower goes down, it is going to be even easier for Execration to invade into the triangle to even further pressure the stacks,
Let's see what Aureus.
I mean, now the Warlock is stealing the stacks. He's stealing some small stacks with the rock. He took
that's smart.
It was like a triple stack, I think.
That's what it looks like. The Shag's able to come in and just finish it off.
Damage.
Well, it's a less than 1k gold lead now. That's just kind of what it's sitting at. So no team really majorly pulling ahead. A large part of it is being carried by the fact that this Bristleback is going carry mode, right? He is straight up farming up a Storm up here. Not really disturbed. They've played away from him for the most part. Nice regen rune grab from Bob. Yopach again hesitant to use the Barrel Strike because the rest of his spells are on cooldown.
Yeah, getting the Lotus Orb first on the Bristleback this game. I think against TA is probably a very valuable buy. You remove the Metal Strike, armor reduction. I mean, on top of that, the Plate Mail definitely helps you against the physical damage. I mean, there's also the Shadow Strike. I think those are spells that are very, very useful to remove from the hero. I think this build is really, really strong. You know, it got popularized by Ama, and players start to. It looked funny in the initial phases when people like don't understand what's going on. You know, why is he rushing? Lotus is not an item that you get as your first item conventionally. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Just feels a bit situational, right? It almost feels reactive. Sometimes people halfway through the game realize, hey, hang on, I think a Lotus would really go hard here. Just kind of prioritizing it was such an unheard of concept, but the dispel on the Bristle just makes so much sense.
Also the stats, right? You look at the stats. You want the mana regen, you want the HP regen, you want the armor, and you want the mana pool. It basically gives you everything you need on Bristleback.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing that's missing is maybe some strength or HP, but the thing is Bristleback has never had an issue with that because his EHP is just ridiculous as long as he's not broken. So the item, plugging all the gaps there. I mean, Bob, he's had a stellar start already, right? It's reflected his net worth. What is he going for? That early Blade Mail already complete, the Kaya. So nothing unconventional, just pretty cookie cutter quad build here, I want to say.
Yeah, tower is down, he has regen rune, and he's ready to look for another play now. 40 minutes coming up. Could they be thinking of Wisdom Shrine, Snatch, or they're just going to move towards the next tower? CML has a mech completed, so he is fairly strong right now. There's a lot of
They are converging on this Natsumi Abaddon. 4 heroes closing in on his location, but with how aggressively Palos is positioning, I feel like Natsumi, you gotta smell something's up.
And they're bringing heroes down. Warlock has Rock. He wants to defend the tower with Abaddon. And Sanking also has Epi with Dagger. So this is a very crucial moment in the game. Keeping in as well the Bristle.
Oh, that is a nice Fatal Bonds. Doesn't tag another hero, but Tino, he's not making it out of this one. There's a mech and a Hand of God, but they are going to leave him for dead. At the very least, they get the tower, so it is what they came for. They didn't need to use the rock, but they had to throw out the Epi. 5 heroes from Aureus showing up here to try and defend that.
Not too bad, I would say. Losing only 1 hero for the tower. I don't think it was the worst. Bob was farming mid. Palos was farming top, so I think overall that was actually kind of like good for Execration. I think they came out on top, even though they lost a hero because they were farming so much on the other side of the map.
I think this type of gameplay is a bit more of what we expected from the upper bracket finals yesterday, right? Between Execration and Boom. Both teams, a very clear understanding of when their heroes are strong and what they need to do in these situations. Just that 4D chess in a way, playing to, you know, invade the triangle stacks, playing for specific objectives, setting up the right heroes in certain locations. This is what you get from the best teams in Southeast Asia right now. And they're all vying for that one spot in DreamLeague. Even more sort of practice on the international stage. That is invaluable.
Yeah, a chance to play against the better teams, that is something that we don't have too many good stream opponents, you know, in SCA.
Yeah, it's a privilege for sure.
Now CML, you know, dewalling camps, you know, he is making sure that the bottom side jungle is safe for his cause to play around towards around that area. I mean, it's going to be, it's night time right now, so they can't really take Rosh on the Dire's side.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, because I think at least for the regular viewer, the Execration lineup kind of is a very obvious type of game plan, right? But what about Aureus? Like, what are they kind of waiting for? Are they just trying to avoid Execration right now during the power spike? Are they trying to farm up for a specific item before they make a move? What's the plan, Nico? Hold that thought. Turning the right way, though. Uh-oh.
Okay, that is an unfortunate pause, but they are waiting for all their ultimates to come back online. You know, Sanking just got his epicenter ready just a couple of seconds ago, and now they already used the rock to kind of try to help the Bristol. He is going to be in a very difficult spot, though. I think Corp is going to unleash everything on her, on him. Snapfire ulti coming in, probably going to
It's
Yeah,
kind of
he's-
tough timing, right? Because it's right when the Hoodwink and the Sand King were trying to make a smoke move up to the top lane. You can imagine if the Sand King was there, counter initiation comes through with the Fatal Bonds. Maybe even if Natsumi was nearby, you could get a shield off and then the Lotus. Things get a lot harder. But the Bristleback looks tanky. He looks really tanky, actually. 2k
yeah,
HP.
he might actually
There's a
take,
chance he
take a
lives
long time
here.
to die.
Because the Shadow Word's coming off cooldown as well. And with the Rock in their way, do they have the damage is the question. Because the Mars spells have already been
he's
used.
probably gonna die still, because Corp is gonna blink behind and just push him with the Sonic Wave towards the Chen creeps, right? That's 2 Centaurs. I think no matter
Right.
what, he is probably cooked. But the exchange is, if the Sand King is going to be able to come over in time, probably not. I think he's going to be taking too long to walk over to cast an epicenter. So whether they get anything return is going to be very unlikely here.
Do you think
So-
you just abandon the Bristleback, like abandon trying to turn around and save him, and then because your initial plan with the Hoodwink Sand King was to run up top and find Palos, right? Do you think just those 2 heroes can still get it done?
I think they're too far away. I don't think they have time. They're not in position. I think if they are in the river right now, just next to the Roshan pit, you
Here we
probably
go,
do
back
it.
into the action. Nico trying to face the right way. They don't feel comfortable enough to blink forward and Sonic Wave, like you said, Nico. He's still half HP. This is not a kill that happened quite as easily as we expected. He's not cooked at all. He's still raw.
And top lane, they're going to go for the TA. Sand
Oh, they
King-
found Palos. If they can get this kill, that'll be huge. A lot of the epicenter damage being blocked by the first refraction. The second refraction comes back up. Now Tims is in trouble. Slowed down by the trap. The TPs come in, but Execration, they can't respond in time. So after all of that, what was like 3 ultimates across the map used, nothing happens.
Yeah, I think Bob was just afraid because he didn't see where the Sand King and Hoeing was, so they were guessing that they were behind the Bristleback because they didn't have ward. We had the privilege of seeing everything. That's why Bob
Yep.
was really scared of blinking forward to use the Sonic Wave to push them back, right? He thinks that the Sand King is just waiting behind.
Yeah, that's true. Tims scurrying around the tree line. Bob, no way of stopping this TP. Heads up play there from the Hoodwink. Okay, so you were saying that they were waiting for all their spells to come off cooldown. Now you gotta wait a little bit longer. At very least, Natsumi, he's been able to find space to farm that Radiant, so his gold is gonna start going up, up, up. It's his moment.
I mean, they're definitely going to take a chill pill right now, Execration, for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, until the Tormentor spawns at top. Then you see, I think both teams are going to want to fight for the Tormentor. It's definitely not going to be given for free. So we'll probably have like a 2-minute downtime, and then there'll be a fight for Tormentor. Natsumi runs into Tino here. They're going to just see each other, give each other a tap in the back, and, and just be on their own ways.
Are you worried at all as Execration about this Natsumi Abaddon? It was the overall last pick, and you know, in terms of attention given to try and kill Natsumi, they had that 1 kill on him before he hit level 6. But ever since he's gotten that borrowed time, they haven't even really tried to get him down here, right? Like, they just look at him, they're like, yeah, we're not gonna bother, and just walk away. Is he gonna be a problem later on in the game, or do you think it's like he's just gonna be some sort of a distraction?
He's definitely going to be a problem. They don't have great Silver Age heroes, right? You don't have a great mechanic to kill him. I mean, we see Sand King winding up his ultimate again. They find find Palos once more.
There is an arena though, Tino there to protect him, and the wall stop the Sand King from chasing any further. Tim's still scurrying around the tree line looking for an angle onto Palos. Nice blink away. Tino and Palos creating the distance there. Tino sticking around to try and rebuke backwards. Might have just sacrificed his life. But look at Shanks from the long distance
Backup's here.
kisses coming in. Backup is indeed here, but Natsumi, he still has that borrowed time, and I don't think you can kill him past this. Now that it's Pop though, things might be a bit different. Here comes Bob, blinking in, looking for an angle. It's Yopach in the tree line. They spotted him this whole time, but Bob can't find him through the trees. He gets fogged, and now Nico seeing red, but can't find the Quap anymore with the blink out. Tim's looking for the sharpshooter kill. Does he land it? Only onto Shanks. Bob able to escape and get sustained up by CML. Again, another situation between Execration and Aureus where spells are slung back and forth, but you don't really get anything done.
Well, for Aureus side, they killed the Mars, so I think they're happy with this trade. And they have already placed a ward down on Execration side to see the gates. But Aureus already preparing for the Tormentor. You know, they're moving their supports top. They're going to be making sure that they secure this area first so that they can kill it with the Bristleback as soon as it spawns, you know. I think Execration, they definitely do not want to give this away for free.
Yeah, Execration following them through the twin gate. You see the bristleback on some Chen Ward, Tino around the area as well. They might try for another kill. Both heroes showing themselves. No arena, Tino off the mark with the spear. Suddenly this kill doesn't seem quite as viable. Nico, he doesn't know that there are 4 enemy heroes here. But the question is whether he even cares. Just turning the right way around. And now Bob's the one being caught. Chain stunned up. They can't get him out. The round drops on top of the Queen of Pain's head. And this wraparound went completely wrong for Execration, losing their mid laner for free. And now surely the Tormentor to follow. Nico still on the chase though. This bristleback is a menace right now. You just can't do anything into him.
He's way too strong right now. Without a break mechanic, he is just unkillable.
Who's gonna get that break mechanic?
It's hard to say though. None of their heroes really want to buy that item. I think if someone were to buy it, it's going to be the TA. I think at some point. Like he needs
Silver Edge TA feels so ass, man.
I mean, what can you do? Are you gonna buy a Kanda on someone to break?
Tino getting caught out there, trying to maybe set up for the Wisdom Shrine, hoping no one's around, but Yopaj and Tims do him in. That's Execration lineup. They are kind of facing a bit of a gap here, and that gap is dealing with the bristleback. They don't have anyone who can really stop Nico right now. Sanjin Yasha complete. He's working his way towards that shard. He's already a problem, and it's just gonna get worse.
I mean, one thing they can do is like they can always turn the Bristol around, right, with the spear. So I think if they can set things up properly, they can actually kill him. But they need to really coordinate, right? They have to bring heroes there to be ready first. You can't expect everyone to be tipping down. Like Mars has to be there early, and then you set up with the arena and the spear, you turn him around, and then you just kill them, you know, right away. You just burst.
But at the same time, it's like, you say all that, that's real cool, but the bristleback also has teammates, right? There is an immediate shield potentially coming out from the Abaddon, allowing him to buy some time, maybe with the rock, maybe with a counter initiate power strike or pushback.
The Abaddon is not going to be next to him, right? He's going to be farming, he's the carry. So that's why it all comes down to how you're going to outmaneuver them on the map. You need to use the chain creeps to push out waves, force them to defend the lanes, and then you pick them off. And Yopaj is on the hunt with the haste rune. He's going to find CML. So right now,
he caught a glimpse of the TA, but deciding to go for the easier target here.
And right now, Aureus definitely moving around the map much better, you know, compared to Execration. They're a bit like unsure about how to play around the Chen. So they definitely need to rethink their priorities. You know, how are we going to play the map? Who's going to be farming which area? Ella's once again caught. No protection for him
nice
this time.
Nice little forced after the low ground. It's going to buy him a little bit of time, but he can't blink because of that Spirit Vessel. Refraction might just do it for him. He's able to get out thanks to the cookie. That is so clutch for him. Looked for a moment like he was going to die, but fancy footwork from the TA bails him out of that situation.
Yeah, I think it all started with that forced off, right? He got a really good forced off. I think that kind of made sure that he has some chances to live there. I mean, Aureus
time
gets
for the refraction to come off cooldown.
Aureus gets the tower, so at least they got what they came for here. They place a ward in the Ancients area in the secret shop. Not a very conventional one, but somewhat useful. And now they're gonna go for the Roshan.
Taking the Rosh away from a TA lineup, that has got to sting, but it's very easy for the Bristleback as well. He's just kind of soloing it right now, not really under any threat with the help of Scam with the heal. I mean, Execration, do you think they don't know this is going on? Surely you don't just give this over for free.
The TA is so low, you know, I doubt they actually know what's going on.
I mean, don't you just walk over to the Chen and start Divine Favoring or some shit like
they have no idea what's happening here.
They might just think Execration might still think that Aureus are still on the hunt for them. Trying to play it safe. They don't see anyone on the map. Gotta assume that there's some sort of coordinated movement happening, but they'll find out now. It's Aegis for Nico. Very free. Aureus facing no resistance. And an Orchid complete already for the Abaddon. We didn't really talk about him, at least during the draft and so much so during the game, but Nico being back in Southeast Asia after that extended period, Western Europe, it's kind of crazy, right? You think about this guy's career trajectory. He was showing up big time. He used to go under the name as Force. To hold that thought as Tino. He held down. Nice TP out. Just can't catch him. But yeah, I mean, back on Polaris, right, I think that's where he really made a name for himself. He was so good that he started being looked at and getting offers from Western Europe. I think that's how you kind of know that you made it. We talked about Southeast Asia yesterday, always producing solid mid laners, solid supports, but the off lane and the carry role is where it's kind of lacking. I think he's one of the shining stars for sure to come out of this region.
I think he has a very, very aggressive playstyle. Right? A lot of the offlaners, I think, they tend to be a lot more, I think, conservative. You just farm your aura items. You don't really take a lot of risks. I think Nico is very, very different. You know, he is the one that's always in your face, pressuring. You know, he's always farming the enemy side of the map, right? That's what I like about him. Some players that tend to farm on their side more because it's just safer. But when you're farming the enemy side, you're kind of also taking away farm from them, right? Which is, I think, strategically, it allows your team to play more of the map. And you see a smoke
in a lot of trouble, trying to come in with the shield, but it's not going to be able to save the Sand King. We might just try and turn around for Tino. Borrowed time pop the BKB on the Mars as well, but Nico is here, and can you really push past him? He has that Aegis in the Lotus and the help of the Rock as well. Skem just biding his time, waiting for enough heroes to group up at the moment. Execration, they're unsure of whether they still want to proceed. The goose stacks are starting to ramp up on these heroes, and it's not a very comfortable affair. You ever try and fight while you're sticky and gross and smelly? Not really the best fun time. Spear, he's facing the right way now. Do Execration want to try and challenge this Bristleback? It's not really proving the easiest affair. He's just turning right around. Talos, you gotta be careful. Still a cookie available down to the low ground, preserving that Hurricane Pike for now. Nico has popped the Seeing Red and the Hurricane Pike pushes him over the edge, but now he's on the low ground. How are you gonna get out now? Palos standing his ground and fighting, using the Hand of God. He's in a rough spot. The Rock gets caught. That is not what you wanted for the TA.
No more cookies to save him, you know. I think he was kind of hoping that there was another cookie to bounce him on the high ground there. But that is a very, very big kill, you know, for Team Aureus side, taking down the enemy carry.
What do you think Execration were thinking there? Because they were poking and prodding at the Bristle. Like, how is that ever gonna work out? He still has Aegis. And now you're losing Tino on the top side of the map as well. His BKB is on cooldown. Yopaj is getting killed onto Shanks in the jungle because Shanks is aggressively warding. Execration, have they lost the plot here just because the Bristleback's a bit too scary?
I think they're also really not very sure on like who to go on, you know. I feel like in the team fights, sometimes they are, like you said, you know, going on the Bristol, which they probably should be ignoring him. They have to kill the other heroes first, you know, this Hoodwing. I think the two unkillable heroes will be the Abaddon and the Bristol. You have to kind of leave them till last. And you have to take down the supports and the Sand King, because like, those are the heroes you want to kill.
They kind of started off in a good spot though, right? The arena at the Sand King looked pretty solid, but then as soon as Nico showed up, they popped the borrowed time, they popped the BKB on the Mars, arena was down. I thought that was going to be it, but sticking around for what felt like a good 1 minute, just ring around the rosy, trying to find the Bristleback in a tough spot. Nico's all over it. Like, he's not going to let that happen. And just because of that, it's a 3k gold lead at this 28-minute mark. This is the lower bracket finals, so both these teams fighting for a chance at a rematch in the Grands against Boom, who are waiting patiently for their opponent. And Nico is certainly a menace here on this Bristleback.
Yeah, they're gonna need a Silver Age very, very soon, you know. As soon as possible, but nobody seems to. I mean, TA is buying Daedalus. Corp is definitely not buying a Silver Age. This Bristol is going to be a problem for the foreseeable future, you know, like quite a long time. It's gonna be very, very hard to kill him. I mean, the spear back is the only way. Like, they spear him back, they turn him around, and they hit him. I mean, it's not
Do you think
easy.
there's any, like, way... Because TA obviously is a hero that just does so much damage, right? Do you scale to a point where even with the Bristleback turning around, you just are able to blow him up anyway, or is that just not a reality?
No, I don't think it's gonna be possible.
That's not real, huh?
Yeah, if you don't break him, you can't really kill him. I mean, he has a lot of armor with the Lotus Orb, right? And he's gonna buy AC next. I think once that come out, realistically, you're not gonna kill him through the turning back, through him turning his back, right? And you don't have a break mechanic. I think it's gonna take too long, and his team is gonna kill you. Right? You already mentioned earlier that he has a team, right? If you don't kill him quickly enough, or you don't reposition him nicely enough, it's gonna be so difficult to kill him without getting punished by the enemy team.
I mean, I guess you're right. In a way, Execration are kind of like a shotgun, right? They want to go in, blow a hero up, and then win the fight in one fell swoop with an arena. But once those spells are down in an extended team fight, you're going to eat burrow after burrow after burrow. You're going to get multiple Aphotic Shields, multiple Shadow Words, multiple Bushwhacks. It's going to be very difficult for Execration to take an extended fight. But right now, it's Aureus who are going in for the one-shot, one-kill. Easy Bushwhack, easy catch. Shanks, he's been found all across the map. We've been applauding this position 4 player for his very smart tactical deaths, but this game, it's just been him getting caught.
Yeah, they're not in a good spot in the game, you know. They're not really like doing anything for the last, what, 5-10 minutes. I mean, the waves are... They're just like pushing out waves with the Chen creeps and the snapfire. You know? They're not really... I feel like using the mask with the Chen, get a kill, then you push down towers. That hasn't really happened for a very long time, right? The 2 towers they were taken in the early game. The mid game, there's not really much progression made, you know. I mean, sure, you could say that they didn't get the Roshan. The first Roshan was given to the Bristleback. So the TA without the Roshan kind of feels like he lost a lot of his power in the game. But he's still the top net worth hero in the game, you know. And now Bristle is going to clear out another Tormentor. Goes to Tims. This is the...
Yikes.
This is the powerful shot right now with the Sand King combination. The boomerang. I mean, it's also a very unconventional build on the Hoodwing, right? He has a dagger, which is going to allow him to set up easier with the Bushwhack. I mean, normally people just play with your Scurry, so you get the bonus cast range. Dagger is definitely not a very conventional item on Hoodwing, but it's allowing him to play even more, I think, aggressive, you know, with the dagger. You can blink in, blink forward, get a good initiation.
That's not a good initiation. Easy barrel strike out for the Sand King. Arena comes up and they use the smoke for that. Aureus, whether or not they were prepared, the response was clean. And you gotta wonder, it's weird, right? Because Execration, they were playing their timing drafts, and CML, it's not like this team doesn't know how to play with Chen. This is one of CML's most played heroes in his pro career period. But I guess with the Chen, there's a certain type of playstyle that you need to have to blink in time. So both teams whiffing their initiations here. Nice little play from Bob. I'm not sure whether he saw that coming or just it was a bit of luck there on his side. If he died there, the gem would be gone, apart from it obviously being a huge kill. So very important that he preserves his life. Oh, Tims.
That's the dagger.
He gets stunned, so he can't get down to the low ground. Tim's just running into 4 enemy heroes. Not really sure whether that's what you wanted. Nico now, being looked upon. We talked about this already. Do you really want to try and focus down the Bristleback? Answer is no. They'll let him walk free. I mean, he has the BKB as well, right? So I don't even know how you're going to kill him.
I mean, the dagger didn't really do him any favors there. He blinked into a very aggressive position and got killed because of that. You know, he was trying to set up and he blinked too near to the enemy team.
It was quite funny. He was right next to the Chen. You could probably smell him too.
And now Tino, he's looking for something. And he has to land a really good initiation here for his team.
Oh, they found Scam on the back line. This is what they were waiting for the whole time. Nice little Lotus Orb at the very last minute to reflect the Shadow Strike. Uh-oh, Bob was trying to make a cool, aggressive play, but ends up going down. And now this Roshan could be in jeopardy. The question is whether Aureus know this is happening. You gotta rush this one down. Palos managing to snatch the Aegis and blink on out of there. Nico can't get there in time.
Bob, with his classic, I think he was like making some space there. Or he was just trying to kill the Warlock, you know. I think either way, didn't work out for him and he loses the gem, you know. That is a painful loss.
That's a very big deal. No way to stop the TP. Nicely done from Shanks. Didn't have the Blink Dagger available, but meanwhile, backline Tino finds Scam. Okay, so Execration, it's a bit sloppy, it's a bit messy, but they're kind of using it to their advantage here. Managing to find a few pickoffs here and there and dodge out some key initiations. Get the Aegis for the TA, and I guess this is just going to be a farming Aegis, but it does ensure her a little bit.
Yeah, they're gonna have to figure out how to deal with this Bristleback. Yeah, he's building into the Silver Age right now on the TA. He has to finish it as soon as possible. It's gonna take a couple more minutes. Probably 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes for her to finish the Silver Age. And once you have the Silver Age, then the game is going to be, I think, turning around for them because they have a way of actually killing the Bristleback.
I feel like we've been repeating the same thing for the past 35 minutes, Winter. How do you deal with the Bristleback? How do you deal with the Bristleback? How do you, like, you keep saying we need to turn him around, but it feels like Tino, he's so preoccupied with everything else. They barrel strike Epicenter onto a BKB Mars. Nice timing, the Rock's gonna deny it though. Tino, nowhere to run. Needs to try and find a blink on out of here, but chased down mercilessly by Natsumi and gang. Skem gets his revenge.
Yeah, Tino again, not really respecting the fact that Warlock could be around, because they have a tier 1 tower and just TP and collect his team. Able to just cancel the BKB TP with the Rock. So good play there by Skem.
Being caught out here, the Mortimer's Kisses, rather the Fire Snap Cookie, getting him the distance. Palos still has a Hurricane Pike available, but Natsumi here to join. The Aegis, Hand of God, doesn't really do enough. And now Aureus, they can get set up here. Rest of the heroes here, Barrel Strike available, Bushwhack to follow. Palos is in big trouble, they need to get out there, carry TA, but he can't escape. Nico turns around at the right time, gets that Quill Spray off, and it's Tims to get the last hit. Things falling apart now. You would have loved to fight an arena here, but you just don't have it. Bob, he's just left to try and split push out this creep wave, cut them so you can't keep the push going. But Aureus very much in control of this game, 9k gold lead at the moment.
Yeah, they have very, very little, answers, to the team fight right now. I mean, if Mars is not in the picture, they have really got to run, TA got caught, couldn't really get out on time, and they were forced to take a very bad team fight in front of their tier 2 tower. No BKB means no escape, for the TA.
I mean, I'm so impressed with Nico this game. I feel like he's doing such a great job. It might be just, a basic expectation from a Bristleback, but I noticed that every single time the TA is slinging a last hit at him, he's taking the time just to either turn to the back or the side before continuing to chase. It's all these things that just allow him to stay sustained and narrowly survive in that fight, even though he was fully committed and being focused down. Now, 25 seconds without your TA, it's just Nico on the high ground now. Team's not even here. It's just him, but he understands he's not under any threat. Tino coming through, whipping the spear. That's not good. And the courier on CML getting killed. That's the Aghanims out of the equation, so you don't get that nice Hand of God channeling. That is painful stuff.
And TA is going to be alive in 3 seconds. No Silver Edge yet, but they have to try to defend. They spear him back, they turn him around.
He's not really going the right way. They go on the back line. This is what you need. The two supports dropping low and they fall. Bob gets the kill, but are you gonna get out alive? Palos hiding under the cover of invisibility. Natsumi finds him with the gem and gets the kill on the opposing carry. Not worth it anymore. You're missing the control of the Hoodwink, but you don't need it anymore. The barracks are gone. And Natsumi, he's not even done. Onto CML. The Cookie's gonna try and get him the distance. Use the Hand of God. No Aghanim Scepter there. Not they made a difference. Natsumi forced to pop that borrow time. So Aureus, they do have to be careful here. The last thing they want is to fall prey to a catch. Arena available now. Tino still holding on to it, just trying to help Bob get away from Nico. The full back turned on the Sonic Wave barely scratches the Bristleback. And they will get out for free. There is even a refresher on Natsumi. Don't even realize when he picked that up. But he's so goddamn rich, man.
Double bloat on, double borrow time. You're not killing this guy, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, who are you killing at this point other than the supports? Natsumi and Nico, they just, the N in their name stands for not dying, I think. Second lane of Rags being threatened now. Again, another situation without your TA. What do you do? I mean, Winter, you've been saying the same thing the whole time. Turn the Bristleback around. And the only turning he's doing is his own. The only turning he's doing is turning the heads of Execration back towards their own base. They can't fight him. Tino trying to find a catch on the sideline, but again the spear whiffs. The rock on his head. Aghanim Scepter upgraded now. And oh no, the Bloodthorn for Bob. They need to bail him out of here. The Cookie's gonna help. Barrel strike in though. Yopaj back for revenge. And the blink comes through, but the fatal bonds sentencing the supports to death here. And Palos comes back in. But Palos gets hexed and Palos gets killed. That is done. Execration. They are out of this game number 1 because all they have left is a Chen and a Quap. And that isn't gonna bail you out of this situation. You weren't killing Nico before. And you certainly aren't doing it now. What a performance from this Bristleback. The scoreline doesn't really tell you the whole story, 3-0-11, but the sheer amount of space he was making this game. Bob will survive, but that doesn't undo the damage done. Aureus take away game number 1.
Yeah, very well played game by Aureus, you know, starting with understanding that the Warlock had to kind of follow the Chen creep.
Any draft that you like better here? The Axe last pick. To me, every time I see an Axe, no matter how good it is in the game or who it counters or whatnot, it always feels to me like a very snowball hero, very feast or famine, right? It doesn't really, you know, I don't want to say it doesn't fit Nico's playstyle, but Nico, at least in the past year and a half on some of these other teams, he's always felt very consistent, very stable to me. Axe is like high or low, you know what I mean?
Consistent, he's a consistent player to you.
Do you not think so?
I think he's a high or low player.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We have very different impressions of Nico. Maybe the games that I watch are different from the games.
Yeah,
When I was watching him, he's always doing pretty well on mouse. Like
either way, he's the player that I think you want to give a lot of priority in the draft. I think he's a player that he dictates a lot of play. He returns you a lot of your investment you put in him. If you give him farm, if you give him space, he is going to carry the game.
Yeah, happened last game. See whether they can do it on the Axe this game. I guess maybe I misrepresented my thoughts here, because what I mean by consistent is kind of similar to what you said, right? Like if
Consistently carrying the game?
No, consistent with what input you give him. If you give him like what he needs, he'll give it back to you, and he won't like falter, right? Like if you give him a good start, a good game, you're not gonna see him like mess up a late game initiation or throw the game or stuff like that. But this might be tough. This is 3 razors on 2 heroes in Nico. You're not gonna survive that even with 3 rings. You're gonna drop to the deck. Palos with a first blood. So much for consistent. Drops for first blood to the SF of all heroes, and you're already going to step into the lane with that lasting presence buff.
Oh boy, this is gonna be terrible for the
This
Axe.
is bad.
This is bad news. Very, very bad news. Bonus damage for SF. I mean, they definitely didn't expect so many heroes there. And actually, the Chen is going to be laning with the Axe here. I think we've seen a lot of teams do this, where they put the Chen on the I think Falcons was one of them as well. They like to use Chen on the off lane with whatever the offlaner is playing. Somehow it actually helps the offlaner a lot more, and the fact that the offlaner is usually the stronger hero means that you can send your creep to the mid lane if you wish to help the mid lane.
Yeah.
Because the carry sometimes is a very weak hero, so if you do that, he kind of suffers a lot in the lane.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But now he is not doing that, so the creep is in his lane to mana burn the SF, which is very, very important. SF without mana equals big creep.
True, and I misspoke a little bit there. I was talking about the lasting presence, but it's obviously not in effect because he hasn't even leveled Presence of the Dark Lord yet. But either way, giving the first blood over to Palos, not ideal. We'll see how well Nico can recover. So far in the lane, he's doing well thanks to the help of Scam. Gotta watch out for that creep, whether it eventually makes its way to the mid lane. Meanwhile, Tim's able to find a kill onto Shanks. Not sure what Shanks was doing there. I guess sticking around to try and contest that small camp pull. Manages to block the camp, but ends up giving his life for it. Not sure whether it's worth it.
Nope, it is not, and he's trying to glimpse him back. Teams, he's looking for him. Oh, okay, he's hiding in the trees, he knows.
Smart. Typical Disruptor play there. For those of you who don't play a lot of Disruptor or have never had the misfortune of this happening to you, if you die in the lane, you can't just TP back willy-nilly in Vision. If not, you're gonna get sent back home and have to do the Walk of Shame. Scam though! Burned the mana of the SF, but clearly not enough. The Razors come through, and CML making use of that tag team to get himself a kill.
Yeah, this is the power of tag team. You can't do this with the drinking buddies. You don't have enough damage there, and you can't catch them because you don't have a slow. Another shot block, another tag team. Nico, he is going to take a bunch of damage. He needs the Divine Favor on him.
There's still the raise though. Paddle's just holding on to it, not even needing it. Very, very nicely done. Not going to waste any more of that mana that is in such small supply. This safe lane has gone stellar for Execration, and we were worried about Tino. Not really sure how relevant the Magnus needs to be if the SF's having such a great time. Nice cookie, but the Skewer, they kind of overlaid their spells a little bit, wasting some resources there. We'll just get beaten back by Natsumi's Gyro.
Yeah, both the offlaners for both teams not doing very well at the start of the game. And Bob on the mid lane, just jumping into Yorpach. He killed Yorpach the last game. He's gonna kill Yorpach again this game.
Yeah, I guess the one difference is that Yorpach is actually doing okay, right? In fact, beating the Queen of Pain in CS by like 2 or 3. So it's not like he's really losing out much in terms of creeps. He's gonna TP back in. He hasn't missed a wave or a rune or anything important. It's still pretty big for Bob though, but not as bad as last game. Last game we were so concerned about him.
I mean, we were concerned because there were no stacks. They stole the stacks. The TA came in, remember? The TA walked in and...
I remember that,
yeah,
yes.
she
So
took
that
the
was
stacks.
miserable for him.
This game, SF is probably not going to do that, but Nico, he's going to get gone on again.
I don't know whether you can survive this. The axe. Feast or Famine seems to be correct, Winter. Perhaps I was mistaken. Nico getting absolutely dogged upon by Palos on his Shadow Feed.
Yeah, I
What's
mean,
the plan in this case? Do you even
X
still keep
is-
coming back to lane or what? Like,
I mean, you have to come back and get your levels, you know. I think you cannot jungle and you have to play the lane. I mean, X
So
is not
bad.
is not the best hero playing from behind, you know. He does not like being behind from the laning phase. You know. They totally didn't expect the early game to go this bad, you know. I think it all just snowballed out of control from the early first blood, right? They killed them at the rune and then the lane just got out of control from then on.
yeah, I don't think they really respected the Tusk damage that could come out. It was a very nice first level in the shards and just trapped them all for the triple raise to come through. That's way too much damage for any hero.
Yeah, I mean, Chen is already TPing out, you know, so he realizes he has to play the stack game now. This lane is, I want to say...
Dunzo.
Done, yeah. You have to be contented in just stacking. You cannot influence this lane anymore as the Chen.
It might have to be a situation, it almost feels like that the Sand King has to try and make space for the Axe. Because the Axe, if he doesn't get his items, if he doesn't get his farm, he's gonna be
I mean, he can
kinda useless.
He needs to farm first to make space for the Axe, right? That's the thing with Sand King. Sand King
Yeah.
is not the best roamer early game.
So they're both gonna have to do quite a bit of farming, and this is my slight concern, to be honest, with the Chen and the Disruptor, because
Sonic
these aren't
Wave.
heroes that can make plays. Sonic Wave in the mid lane, Yopach hiding in the tree line, trying to find a way out, but spot Shanks instead. That's tough. He's managed to juke out to the top side. Do they see him? He's gonna
Oh,
TP
nice.
out, seriously. Yopach, that's some nice juking over there.
The man is a master of footworks, you know, fancy footworks. But he's going to lose the rune because of that. He TP back to base, and right now there's going to be also a scan. They know that the Chen is stacking the camps. They're coming in with the Tusk. But they don't have the right heroes to kind of steal the stacks here with their heroes. But they're just going to be aware of the stacks.
Nice little haste rune grab from Tim's there. Even gonna get around here just to pop a little lightning strike onto Bob. Annoy him a little bit, give Yopach some room to work his way towards that level 6. Paddle's gonna swing down and try and get the sacks again.
I mean,
This
they're
is
going
kind
on
of aggressive.
They're going on Tino in the meantime.
They're going on Scam. I mean, aggression happening on two ends of the map. Scam will fall here. Palos is dominating. And maybe if the lasting presence, they're gonna feel good enough to just triple raise this small hard camp stack at least.
Yeah, they can take the medium camp, but they can't take the ancients. But that's also pretty big, you know, for the Sand King.
Oh dear, Sand King coming in onto Palos. You need to come in for a snowball save, waiting on the barrel strike, but pulled
Wow,
in.
perfect.
Very nicely done. CML, I'm not sure whether it's going to be enough though. Glimpse back into the middle of the creeps, and Nico is going to be the one to get that last hit. That is huge.
Is he back into the game? After that, yeah, kinda. Now he's similar net worth with the Sand King.
Oh, look at Natsumi trying to 1v3 here. It's not going to be enough. Tino with a very nice skew onto the high ground isolates the gyrocopter and prevents any more damage from coming out. Even though Natsumi does go down here, I will say I like that play a lot. Because if they didn't bring 3 heroes, Execration were going to get punished big time for it. And now Shanks is stuck up here in isolation. He has the cookie down, but he's just bone dry on mana.
Yeah, I think overall the bigger kill was on the SF, right? The Ancients. I think that was the kill that kind of gave X some life back towards his
Oh
game.
dear.
He was so poor.
This is bad. Natsumi trying to set up a kill onto Tino, but they're just buying time because the SF is coming through. They can't get the kill on Tino, and Natsumi, he's gonna die a second time. Excellent rotation through the twin gates from the safe lane duo of Execration.
SF is not a hero that you expect so much action on, you know. Like, if anything, you expect the gyro to be coming through the gates, moving around, ganking, defending the stacks. But this time it is Palos on the SF, you know, playing the rotating role, and it's doing them a lot of good right now. putting pressure. This kill on the gyro is actually absolutely massive. Now the difference between the SF and gyro is 1000 gold.
Yeah, it wasn't even that big even after that death on the Wisdom Shrine, but the fact he comes in and tries to... You can't really blame Natsumi for it, right? You just don't expect that. You see a low Magnus in the lane, you're like, okay, I'm gonna wrap around, I'm gonna punish him. But right now, it's Execration who are ruling the map. It's not that much of a gold advantage overall across the board because the Sand King's still having a good time after clearing those stacks, but it's a great look for Execration.
Yeah, gyro doesn't really outscale the SF. So this is definitely worrisome, you know, if the SF is ahead.
You think late game, like full slaughter or all items up, the Palos SF is gonna do better?
Yeah, SF is going to out DPS the gyro for sure. And he also has the Tusk.
Can't stick around for that Lotus, but at least will preserve his life.
And the SF just does way more damage, you know, with the minus armor. And you have a lot more... I think in the team fights, you do a lot more single target damage. Like, gyro is very good with the spray damage, right? He's very good at killing everyone at the same time. But SF has more single target damage. So when it comes down to the 1 versus 1...
Natsumi again trying to farm out this mid lane, but will get caught out. Bob, not wanting to use the Sonic Wave, will just have to throw it out. Natsumi gonna get caught. This is the third death for him. 0, 3, and 2 on this gyro.
This is not a lane that you want to be as on gyro though. I'm not sure why he came to the middle. Maybe he was thinking about clearing one wave and contesting the rune. I think he's playing for his team too much at this point, you know. He's got to have to think about his own game.
AD rune for Yopach. He was trying to catch the Queen of Pain on the rune, but a regen means that kill is just not going to happen. You glimpse back, but it's a bit too early, and the kinetic field is not going to catch, neither is the burrow. This is a disaster. Aureus, they need to try and escape and cut their losses, but look who's here to claim the kill. Palos is there with CML for the Walrus Punch right in the gut. That has got to sting, and now they're looking at the tower to fall.
I mean, this is going to get out of control, you know, for the SF. He's hitting your towers with the lasting presence. This is really, really bad news. I mean, the game is right now too fast, you know, for Aureus to handle. I mean, that kill just felt so forced, you know, when they couldn't get the kinetic field.
It's not gonna happen, and now the quick rotation up to the top lane. Eco dares to pick Axe in front of the Tusk King and gets caged up like a dog for it. Bob on a killing spree. A very different complexion. Last game it was the same thing, right? This Queen of Pain managed to get off to a good start against the Sand King, but in the midst of contesting all those stacks and the map rotations, ended up losing the plot a little bit. It got a little bit rough for Execration, but they formed back up. Even though we weren't too confident on the Tino Magnus, it's worked out for them, right? He baited in the gyro a few times. Now he's got the upper hand over the opposing carry.
We'll see whether the axe can actually make a difference when he has his blade mail plus dagger. It's going to be not a very good timing to get the dagger and blade mail, but Aureus, they really have to just wait, sit tight, farm a little bit, and wait for that item to come online. I mean, at this point, they are not in a very good position where they can force too many issues. You know, they don't have enough, I think, in the tank to actually win team fights.
The one thing about Aureus that's to their benefit is it's not like they're lacking damage, right? If they can actually connect the spells on the Shadow Fiend and there isn't a cookie to save or there isn't a snowball to save, they can kill him very easily. They find CML in their own jungle and snowball's gonna buy some time. Still should go down though. That should be pretty easy. Yopach picks that one up. Yeah, you just gotta kind of stay put and punish these over-aggressive moves, right? Now, they're not gonna expect this to immediate smoke up. They know where Natsumi is, and he's gonna get spotted on the wall trying to hit towards those Ancients. Oh no, Natsumi. You can't afford to go down again. You need to recover as best as you can. The kisses available, in they come. Onto the gyrocopter, nowhere for him to run. The best he can hope for is a creep deny, but he won't even get that.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Hey, Gyro is having a very, very rough game. You think the Axe is having a rough game, the Gyro is also having a rough game. Like
Both side laners are just having a miserable time.
Sand King needs to get something done right now.
This has to be some sicko mode Yopaj performance, I'll tell you that for free. They know Palos is up here, trying to sneak around, but he's hidden in the tree line. Nico's gonna show himself. Do they see him is the question. I mean, they know he's around the area, but they don't know exactly where he's hidden into. He'll show up the lane now. Try and look for a move. In they come. Static Storm, stopping the snowball save. It should be enough damage. The Sonic Wave can't save them, but it does return a lot. Nice heal coming out from the Chen. It will preserve their lives. And Nico coming up big with the double kill. They find 3 thanks to the Blade Mail just catching Bob off guard. He screams and it hurts him more than it hurts them. Shank's gonna turn around, but getting slowed up now. Natsumi surely can catch up. Afterburner available, not even gonna give them the chance. Shanks goes down to the gyro, and in one fell swoop, 4 members of Execration going down. That is a 3k gold swing. It's Aureus now with the advantage.
That was all your parts right there. He was really patient with the Barrel Strike, right? He didn't initially Barrel Strike, he epied, he blinked in, so they started off with a Field and Static Storm. And he was really patient. He knows that the Tusk is going to come in and try and snowball and bring the SF to another location. And he waited for the Tusk to come in, and he got a 2-man stun because of his patience, you know. And that was kind of, I think, how the fight started very well for Team Aureus there. So well played to your patch.
It was also kind of scary, right? Because at some point in the fight, I think Bob TP'd in. He threw out a Sonic Wave that looked like it was going to sentence a couple of people to death. But very crucially, the Chen, Scam, was able to get his Hand of God off before the RP from the Magnus. You could tell Tino was trying to prevent it, but he just couldn't do it in time. And after that healing over time starts ticking in, you're not killing these heroes. Really cool stuff here from Aureus to just punch back. And Execration, they gotta be a bit more careful.
Hang on a minute, the X is not buying Dagger. Buying Lotus?
Okay. What's the Lotus for?
Shadow Strike?
That...
And the armor?
Okay. Is that good?
Don't worry, I'm as confused as you.
Okay. I thought I was just missing something completely here. What? Is he worried about some sort of... Like, I mean, yes, it's like level 3 Shadow Strike and it does damage and it... I mean, most of the time you'd be concerned about removing the Shadow Strike just to... You know, I don't know, enable your blink, which you don't have.
I think he's playing this more like, you know, how sometimes 33 plays X, like Aura and his frontline hero. Because with these, with this facet 1-man army, you're a lot more tanky than usual because you're getting strength from your armor. That's when the Lotus Orb kind of helps you. He gives you armor and then you're getting HP at the same time.
Yeah, I can kind of see it. I mean, I guess his perspective is if he's able to survive the initial burst like he did just now, the Hand of God can come in, he's got mad strength, he's got a Chen helping him out, you know, he has auras on the back line as well. He should be able to live through it all, so he's just kind of increasing his EHP. Oh, these poor Chen creeps.
I mean, the fact that he also has like max Battle Hunger, right? So he's just going to be casting his Battle Hunger instead of blinking into initiate. I mean,
damn, the hate onto Scam. They Mortimer's kisses that Chen solo. That's tough. Oh, your patch?
He's pretty farmy, you know, on the Chen, so that's
trying to set up here. You gotta be careful though. I thought there would be a shot coming out, but CML not wanting to risk it. Not seeing the gyro, not seeing anyone else. Nico going down in the top lane though. Tino, I believe he was able to use an up to carry Mango sticker on the floor.
And he has his Lotus done now, so he's gonna get a shot next. So he's just playing on the Battle Hunger and being tanky in the front line.
Do you think this is the right decision this game, or is it just something that's so new that it
I
will
don't
have
know.
to just wait and find out?
I mean, I think it has its merits here in this game against SF, all the physical damage.
It surely is a bit confusing, but I mean, if anyone knows what he's doing, it's gonna be Nico. Like you said, you give him the resources, he's gonna give you the returns. He's managed to come back in this game in a big way, now ahead of net worth from Bob, who... In another... This happened last game as well. He had a pretty good start on the Queen of Pain, and then now he's starting to just kind of slip slowly and surely behind. CML gonna contest this Illusion Rune. looking for a barrel strike onto the task. If you kill him first, there's not going to be a snowball save. Not managing to get the culling blade kill, but still able to find the pick off.
And this is going to build up into a very, very tense next couple of minutes because Roshan is going to be on the menu for both sides, right? And Tormentor is going to be spawning. The last time the Tormentor spawned in the first game, they took a very, very huge fight, you know? And I think Aureus actually won that pretty handily, but you could see how teams are setting up for it. Right now, I think Aureus has wards around the top section of the map. One on the Ancients, one on the river in the middle. And there's definitely going to be a lot of setup, right, coming for the Tormentor. You see, I think Execration making a beeline over. They're getting ready to fight for the Tormentor.
Oh, they spot the Chen out. Palos going to try for the setup. If you had a blink there, you'd be able to stop this. But right now, Nico just running at them.
Oh, BKB.
Immediately, Palos pops it out of nowhere. There's the call, though. Trying to waste the duration. CML can't get a snowball save off. He doesn't need to, though, because Palos able to get his own Requiem. Cookie in? Is that what he wanted into his death? Sonic Wave comes through. Oh, Yopaj will go down as well. Now Tino joining the fight, looking for the gyrocopter. The kiss will slow him, the skewer forward. You're looking for an RP, pull him back towards your team, and Bob will get the job done. The BKB reveal from Palos squares them off completely. Aureus were not expecting that.
Yeah, that was all Palos being able to dodge that initial magic damage from the Sand King, right? If he were to have died right away, I think that fight was going to be completely different, you know, from the get-go. So that was props to Palos just being able to somehow react. I don't know if he saw the Sand King or he just reacted. Or he just reacted, you know.
So the thing is, we were complimenting Yopaj this entire time because he likes to epicenter, blink in, assess the situation, and then burrow if needed. But that's one of the times that it kind of backfired because he blinked in epi, and as soon as the Shadow Fiend saw him, just immediately pressed BKB. So then his barrel strike didn't stun. So this is one of the few times where your immediate burrow ends up working. Would have been way better than this kind of waiting it out and making a smart decision.
I mean, I think it was. I remember it was pretty quick already. He did it like almost instantly. I'm not sure how much of a window that he gave SF, but it was really quick, and I think SF also reacted.
Yeah,
really
I mean, props of Palos, right? Can't take that away from him. The timing on the BKB was everything. Even though CML couldn't come through to save it.
Yeah, I mean, it's also, I think he just got the BKB like a couple of moments ago, right? So maybe they also didn't really know he had a BKB.
I don't think he showed on vision up until the point he killed the Chen, and maybe nobody clicked on him just yet. They just thought, okay, it's SF, let's kill him. Speaking of a kill though,
Tumblr's toy setup. Very nice. Bounce down the low ground, catches him with the field and side storm. Easy.
Cute moves here from Tims. Still, it's a 4k gold lead for Execration. It really was off of that sort of Tormentor area topside fight that they now find themselves with the advantage. This game very back and forth compared to the previous affair.
Yeah, I mean this move here is gonna connect onto a disruptor.
And they go Roche now. They try to find Scam. They miss the angle on the skewer, so they skewer forward instead. Scam still has that max, still has the Hand of God. Will throw it out. Starting to turn around now. Natsumi there to deal the damage. Palos ready with the Requiem, but gets interrupted by Nico for now. They've used most of their ultimates. Again, the Sand King, he's gonna come in and on the tail end, the Barrel Strike stuns, but it's not gonna be enough. There's way too much AoE magic damage. And again, without your blink on the axe, you just can't come in and punish. They collapse upon your Sand King, they collapse upon your gyro, and you're not in the picture. Close to 3k gold exchange. Again, they lose panels, but it's so worth it.
I'm definitely with you. This axe feels so useless in the team fights now without attack. He can't do anything. I mean, this build, this build is good if they are focusing you. If you're in front and they have to, you know, use their spells and hit you. But it's not good if they are going onto your carry and you cannot blink and save him.
Yeah, yeah, we're seeing it sort of. You know, when you want to innovate, people will question you and people will flame you. And I think before you find the genius, there's always a few moments of confusion and failure. We're not at the genius part yet. We're kind of at the confusion, disbelief, and maybe one or two failures. Maybe he will show us the value of this Lotus first in the next fight. But for now, I think we're all a little bit lost.
not just us. His teammates is also a little bit lost, right? The gyro is like thinking, where is my axe? They're going on me and there's no blink call. Oh yeah, my axe.
Right, you got a
my
low.
axe does not
Sorry.
have a dagger. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Well. And then he asked, so why don't you have a dagger again? And Force is like, oi, Philippines! Philippines! And you're like, okay, sure. That's the only noise he's making. He's not really making much other calls. It's a little bit unfortunate. We'll have the blink on the menu now, but this is perhaps one of the slowest timings on an X blink I've seen ever. He kind of did it to himself, right? Like, I don't know, the blink is like half the price of a Lotus. Got me wondering whether you really need that. Maybe in another reality where there's like a Bane or a lot of single target disabled, the spell reflect would make more sense, but what are you reflecting? You can't really stop the Walrus Punch, you can't stop the Skewer, you can't stop really anything. And now Nico might be in trouble. Got the Glimmer onto Tino to prevent his blink from being cancelled. Still can't find the chase though, Nico's just a bit too quick. I mean, he has the shot now as well. It's cool, right? Like, when you get the call off, you battle hunger everyone. The only problem is he's not getting the call off.
Yeah, I wonder why, right?
RP, pull him back. Okay, put him in position for the call. He's looking to survive. He has a Lotus AWP, guys.
Yep, but he's dying to spell damage right now.
Yep. All he can do is voice line, bro. Like, I don't even think the Aureus draft is bad either. We saw some moments from them. They're gonna try and still fight. Maybe you buy back BKB off. Palos is too quick, and the Sand King just can't do shit. Has to TP away. You buy back on the X. He gets Walrus punched up on your part, so he's in trouble. Trying to fight a Barrel Strike. Needs 3 seconds, but caught off by the shots. Will Barrel Strike, but die anyway. And you've bought back on Nico, but what are you buying back for?
You're buying back on the axe so that he doesn't have to buy dagger. I think he's allergic to the dagger this game.
Yeah, now they're like, okay, well, now I just need to farm my dagger, right? This is maybe 2 to 5 minutes more of undisturbed farming. Every time his team's like, hey, we kind of need you to defend our racks or something. He's like, no, I need my core items.
You ping the dagger. 1500 gold to go.
Yeah, you just keep pinging. Tim's now in trouble, and this is the glaring weakness of the lineup, exposing its very soft underbelly, right? The two supports, Disruptor and Chen, they are backline supports who can't really make much plays by themselves. They need their allies, and right now their allies are just not in a good spot. They will run over and find Tino. This is pretty nice. I don't think the Lotus had anything to do with that, but just a good rotation up to this top side. Not sure whether they smoked or managed to dodge some vision or something like that, but the Magnus wasn't really expecting it.
A kill is a kill, Mike, you know.
So true.
Back into the dagger
I don't think they're
road.
back, right? Like, I don't think that kill on the Magnus really does anything necessarily for them, though. Like, on the map.
The X got his buyback goal.
Let's go! Dude, 400 more gold to the dagger. Not too bad, actually. It's farming with a capital F.
He's getting there, Mike. Don't worry. We're gonna see. We are at least gonna see one team fight where the X actually has a dagger.
Amazing. I certainly would hope so.
I mean, ideally, his target is going to be, I think, mainly the SF. I think he doesn't really want to call anyone else. He only
Yeah, I mean,
needs...
I thought that was the whole point of picking the X to begin with, right?
Yeah.
Like, we were discussing it in the draft. Your concern is just kind of reflecting the damage back to the SF.
The snowball is the only concern. So as long as they get, you call the SF and you have Disruptor place the Static Storm on top of that. That would be enough in most cases.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for the Magnus to counter-initiate as well. Here's a blink. Here's the blink, baby. We got there. 27 minutes in, ladies and gentlemen. X blink. There you have it. Come on. Nico Dalta's where? He's back, folks.
The Doubters are back? Or the player is back?
No, Nico is back. The Doubters are nowhere to be found. They're gone now. No more flaming Nico. He has the item build.
He has to prove them wrong first before.
He has to. He does have to
Before
prove
that.
them wrong. I mean, all things considered, they did. Let's not forget, last game, Nico was absolutely proving the doubters wrong. He was owning on that bristleback. He was doing everything right for the team. This time around, a little bit more confusing. They're trying for a smoke out, but there's no one there because knock knock. They're busy hitting your tier 3 tower in the bot lane.
It's taking too long. I think Execration, they are going to sniff out what is happening here.
There's some shenanigans going on, that's for sure. Put a ward right next to a ward. That's never a good start. Jump forward, Tim's looking for the call. You need a static storm to follow up. He doesn't have the Aegis, but Tino, a huge grab and RP pulling in Natsumi into death. And that's an immediate buyback on the Disruptor, but that means you don't have a gyro, you don't have a static storm, and you no longer have your axe. Tino, we were chastising him for his previous Magnus game, but he shows up big time, and he proves all the doubters wrong. What a grab from the Magnus.
That was the perfect initiation for them. The gyro +1 and an SM vacuum to follow up. There's no chance for the gyro to do anything at all in that team fight.
Jesus.
I mean, this is the power of Sarah. Execration, they were there and ready. They smoke up the other heroes. They were waiting behind the SF, and you have to show right on Aureus. You have to do something. SF is killing your buildings, so you make the first move. The Magnus just waits and reacts to it, and in most cases, the team that is waiting has a higher chance of success.
Yeah, I mean, when you just kind of have all the pieces laid out in front of you, it might seem easy to initiate on Palos, but it's just so hard with the situation at hand. He has so much backup. And that's 2 lanes of Rags, just one fell swoop. You couldn't ask for a better initiation from your Magnus. That was clean stuff. I mean, you talked about getting the gyro being the big deal, but I'd argue to say the fact that he got Tim's as well, preventing that static storm from overlaying onto the Axe call, that was significant as well. And Yopach, again, we're reaching a point where Palos, he's just too quick with that BKB. You're not getting these epi initiations that you need.
One last fight. One last hurrah. It's now or nothing for Aureus.
And it's now game 3 for Aureus, more likely. Roshan, it's not going to be available for a little longer, so there isn't really a major objective for these teams to fight around. Maybe they'll try and get the Tormentor as it comes up very shortly. How do you even stop Tino from doing what he just did at this point? Because, you know, we were memeing a little bit about this axe, you know, finally getting the blink. When he blink calls and when he, you know, jumps the SF and whatnot, how do you stop Tino from pressing BKB, blinking in, and RPing your Sand King and your axe? Even if he doesn't catch the backline supports, even if he doesn't catch the gyro, doesn't that just
Gyro
mean
might be
you're...
caught. Gyro is gonna get caught.
Gyro is done. This guy, Natsumi, he's just not really had the best game on this gyro. 1, 8, and 9. That is a scoreline you expect from a support Ogre Magi.
You gotta bring in the ogre at some point, yeah.
I mean, you started it. It's a self-flame. It's a self-flame. I can do that. Palos, hunching on the high ground. They want to force out the buyback from the gyrocopter. They don't know if he has it, but if he has it, he has to use it at this point. Aureus at risk of losing. Oh, the instant hurricane fight. Are you serious, Palos? He's not even giving them a chance. He got a buyback now, but it's daytime. They have full vision of you. You're not going to catch them by surprise. And Tino, I mean, Tim's, he's trying to be annoying by putting the Thunderstrike on the Magnus to prevent any sort of a catch, but they're happy with that. Exactly, Palos, he'll take that. You know, you buy back for absolutely nothing. They're not going to give you a chance to get any sort of return kill.
Very disciplined, going back, waiting for Roche. Get the Roche on the game. When you were asking me how can they burst the SF, I think there is only one way. Blink, call. He doesn't react with BKB. You follow up with Epi stun.
Yeah, and then CML disconnects from the game.
No, you just have to make sure that the storm is on top. As long as the storm is on top, then the CML task cannot save unless he has. Did he buy BKB? No, he didn't buy BKB.
No, he has not. He went for the Vlads, which is a very clear sign of how strong they're feeling right now. They just won the auras and they want them now. Okay.
Top tower is under attack.
And Nico is working his way towards that BKB now. He's gonna hit a crazy BKB Lotus Blade Mail Blink Dagger Power Spike. at 40 minutes. Yep, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I thought this Axe last pick was gonna do it for them. Then they feed first blood to the SF. I mean, they had some pretty nice initiations from Yopach, but Yopach can only do so much by himself, right? It just felt like there was so much for him to do. You're kind of expecting the Axe to come in clutch eventually. He doesn't have a blink, so he can't do any of that. And now, the next Aegis is going to go their way, and look at where Aureus are on the map. They're in no position to contest this.
Yeah, probably saving it for the next game at this point. I'm gonna try one more time, just make them come end the game.
Dude, the SF is like 1k gold away from Satanic. Once he gets Satanic, if you don't burst him down immediately, he's just got to kill back up to full.
I mean, the thing is, you don't have any repositioning tool. When you're up against a turret like SF, you need to have like some sort of repositioning. Tiny Magnus type of hero. If you can't remove him from his fort,
from his turret position,
from
right?
his turret position, you're not killing him in most cases.
Okay, well, we'll see whether they can catch Execration by surprise, but everything's looking all Execration right now. Palos gonna just run up to the high ground, show he has Aegis, he doesn't care. He's gonna kill some of these creeps, you know, farm all willy-nilly. Surely no one's around here. Aureus, they're smoking up as well, looking for some sort of a wraparound perhaps.
Oh, Bob,
Find
they
the
caught him.
angle. The call onto Bob. Is it going to be enough? Way too much healing, and he pops the BKB. The Culling Blade not gonna matter. And nice RP onto 2. Sonic Wave as well. Palos, he is just dealing the DPS. And Natsumi drops to the deck. That's a dieback. Yopach can't even get the epicenter off. That's done. We're going to a game number 3, Winter.
We are indeed. You know, this series would not have been perfect without the game 3, right? Now we're gonna see a full cycle. Game 3, best of 1. Winner takes it all.
The winner takes the spot in the grand finals, folks.
Home.
Yeah, loser goes out of DreamLeague, out of a chance teams draft a high tempo lineup. We like to say they're on a timer. They're not even on a timer, they just have a small time window. You're telling me that if things don't go well for Aureus within the 6 to 15, they're just toast? Like they only have that spot to really come, like...
I mean,
their
their lineup is early and late. There is no mid game in this lineup because they don't have team fight.
I mean,
They don't have
honestly,
stuns,
even late
don't
game,
have-
does it scale well enough? You think if you have a TA Gyro, I know you got 2 carries, but...
I think, yes, if they really get to like really late, like 50 minutes, they have 2 carries. So essentially, I think that's what is going to pull them through. But during the mid game, there's going to be a period where all of your heroes are going to want to farm, right? The TA needs to hit creeps, the Gyro needs to hit creeps. So there's going to be a period where you don't really get to do much, you know, outside of the hoodwink, setting up some solo guarding kills. So I think this is the reason why the early game is going to be so crucial, the first 15 minutes. If they have a good 15 minutes, they can
30 seconds.
ride along in the mid game and get past that, you know. But if the early game is bad, then you have 3 cores farming on the lane, you're playing very defensive with the Solar Garden, and that's not what you want, right? And we see here Execration actually doing what Aureus did in the previous game, where they smoked 3 heroes to steal the bounty rune on top. Remember how the X died here? That was the exact same move.
It can happen again. I mean, there are no Shadow Fiend Razors, but Shanks could trap in Natsumi. He doesn't see enough heroes, but he has
he has a
on the high
ward.
ground. That's gonna save him.
They actually know
They
that this
know.
is coming. Very smart. 2 for 2. That's what we like to see, right? No shenanigans. We have an actual real game starting this time. Like the last game, the X.
Lanes decided just within the first 5 seconds of the game. That's not ideal.
Nico is probably happy this time. Alright, I didn't get first blooded last
Yeah,
like
no
last time.
feeding. You know, this life stealer didn't just get something for free. Also, one thing that you were mentioning about how Aureus want to try and contest this wisdom, contest the triangle, push the mid lane tower. Because of the life stealer getting that Gore Storm facet, he can very much be involved, right? I think in the past you never really consider life stealer joining these early engagements, but he can just roll up with an ancient creep, drop a fireball if he's a black dragon, and just go to town.
He is in fact the best gate ganker because of this.
Yeah.
What do you
It's
do?
kind of crazy to say.
He brings the ancient creep over 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 8 minutes, more or less.
Literally, what hero can kill an ancient creep at 7 minutes? I don't even know.
0? I don't think there's anyone that can deal with it that early. It's just way too early, right? So you just have to run. And at the same time, right, when he's defending his tower, so he shows up with a Black Dragon and he pulls the creep wave, right? It's also the same thing.
Yeah, like literally, how do you kill a Black Dragon? It's easier to kill a Disruptor and Aureus. They are reversing the script here. Nico got first blooded in that previous game. Nico's angry.
Yeah, this is very, very crucial for them to abuse the fact that the Disruptor Lifestealer is actually a weak duo. Even though I mentioned Lifestealer is a good matchup into the Dawn, but initially, the first couple of levels, Lifestealer needs to be very, very careful. And Disruptor is also a hero that we always say that you need to enable this support hero, right? He needs some sort of babysitting. He's also very weak. And in this lane, I'm afraid they're both weak in the early level. So you're seeing them getting bullied by the Dawnbreaker plus Hoodwink combination. And
Yeah,
here,
there's no babysitter. It's like the Lifestealers look at the Disruptor. The Disruptor says "Goo Goo Gaga," and the Disruptor's like "Gaga Gaga Goo Goo," and they're just two babies sitting next to each other. Where's our milk?
I think the Tusk has to be in charge of delivering some milk later. He needs to make some rotations.
It's the milkman. Knock knock. Here's your
Yeah, but then
probiotic milk.
he's telling you, wait, I need to wait for my baby Dazzle to grow up because Dazzle doesn't like to be alone.
It's so beautiful. Tusk is a father of 3. A lot of damage coming out onto Palos, forcing that rage. Nico dropping low though. Does he have any resources? He's gonna throw the hammer out, just allowing for the trade. I mean, they get the kill onto Nico first. I'm not sure if that's worth it for the Dawnbreaker.
Definitely not, but a kill is a kill. Hoodwink's happy. He got solo XP. He's almost level 3 right now, and I think Hoodwink is one of those heroes as well. If you can give him a good early game start, he can definitely do a lot. I think you can say the same for Disruptor. Disruptor with levels is, I think, one of the more scariest supports with levels.
They're trying to contest this Lotus. Glimpse the Nico. Okay. Maybe he thought he just TP'd in or something like that.
He says thank you for that free ride.
Yeah, back to the creep wave. Nice pushback of the 2. Wow, that's nice. They have no glimpse and they have no way of stopping it. But the Thunder Strike slow. It's gonna keep Nico at bay. That was really scary for a moment there for the Disruptor.
Yeah, that was a very good play there by teams there. Catching that brief little moment. Another pushback here. Another
Oh my
nuke.
goodness.
And this lane is not looking good for this lifestealer right now.
Tims is honestly owning on this Hoodwink, showing why it was banned out in game number 2. He's just not been scared to pick it up immediately. And he is still trying to chase down CML. Bushwhack available. This is a level 2 Bushwhack. There's 3 stick charges, but he's just gonna chase him down.
Yeah,
This is a Squirrel masterclass, and Nico brings the hammer down on the Lifestealer. In both the 1v1s, they win it out, and the Execration safe lane is in shambles.
This lane is definitely getting bullied way too much right now. I think right at this point,
Bring the babysitter in.
what
They
can
need
they
an
do?
emergency babysitter.
I
Like
think
maybe
they need the Tusk to come at some point already.
they do. They really do. They are malnourished. They haven't had milk in ages. They're both crying. It's awful.
I mean, this is precisely what they need to do with this Dawn and Hoodwink, right? On the Aureus side, they have to win the lane. They have to play the early game really well, and they're doing it.
What about this mid lane though? I thought we were saying that it's supposed to be like a nice little TA lane matchup into Bob. Bob's kind of schooling him at the moment though. Look
Wait,
at the
what?
CS disparity.
How?
Bob is 28 and 11. Yo Paj is 17 and 3.
Okay,
Yeah?
I have no
I guess that's just
explanation.
yeah, you're like, oh, I want to see Bob play a hero that's in your face. He is in the face of the TA right now as this Earthshaker.
I wonder how much
Lane?
of it is just with
Here comes the task. Here comes the babysitter Nico. Looking likely to fall here. Nice snowball away, but
Oh, he
maybe
killed
that
the
means
Dawn?
Nico survives.
Radiant
Okay. The glimpse.
Oh, that was close.
That almost was a disaster. If Shanks actually pulled Palos away there and Dawnbreaker survived.
At least they got the kill. Doesn't matter how, but they got there.
I mean, look at Dino. Is he?
The next
Oh my
crying
god.
baby, right? Where is my babysitter?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure every support player knows this feeling when your safe lane's losing and you're position 4. You try and go down there. As soon as you're gone, your off laners pinging you. They're like saying GG. You look at them, they're level 3 or some shit. It's miserable. Shank's gonna try and make a difference in the mid lane, make use of the fact that Bob is level 6, but the problem is Bob doesn't really have any mana right now. He's not gonna be able to echo slam shit.
Praying
6-minute
for a
rune.
regen rune.
Oh
No.
my god. That's tough, man. That's tough.
Regen rune on the wrong
Paddles.
side, Mike.
Oh dear. Cuts the tree, but unfortunately, all around him are the trees, and Nico gonna be able to get another kill. You glimpse him back into the tower. He's probably gonna go down. Last little bit of a stick charge to right click. Seriously? 20 HP on the Dawnbreaker, surviving on a prayer there. And they continue their domination of this bot lane. Palos is not having a game.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Wisdom
Radiant
Shrines.
structures are fortified.
They're gonna be moving over. I think I see Scam. He's trying to plan for a steal here. He's waiting on the high ground. Maybe this is gonna decide otherwise. It's probably not gonna work out. He wants to pressure the mid. Like I said, you know, the Enchantress wants to go mid with the first caliber wave. Pressure with the TA.
Palos has no HP again. Like, how do you even walk up? The second you walk up, there's a bushwhack, there's a hammer. Oh my goodness. Palos is 50 HP.
He needs his level 6. I think he just needs the Disruptor to just... For lack,
Get the
of
hell
a,
out of there.
for lack of a better way of explaining, F off, you know, from the lane, so he gets
Yeah,
some
like he's
XP.
sapping so much HP. It's like maybe at this point you could have Gore Storm ganked already.
Yeah, he needs to go mid. Shaker's getting pressure mid.
That's the scam creep, like you mentioned. The sequence for Aureus, even though, like you mentioned, it's a very tight timeline for them. They are on schedule, 2k gold lead already. Even though Yopaj is falling behind in terms of CS, he's managed to keep up in terms of net worth.
8 minutes runes. They're gonna want to grab it. 3v3 brawl in mid lane.
I don't know whether Scam can survive this one. The rune is in the bot lane. They might have just had to sacrifice the Scam Eng for it.
Oh, guess who's
Or
here?
will they? He's not even going to die. Natsumi joins the fray. This is why you pick the gyrocopter. The call down to catch him, and CML next to fall. There's a trap right in the middle of the lane. Yopaj will plant another sharpshooter off the mark. But Yopaj, he's got the damage. Glimpse in 1 second. They're not going to be able to find that kill. But much bigger is the pick off onto Bob, and now they're in the opposing triangle.
Yeah, very, very important rotation by Natsumi there on the gyro, ensuring that his team is still on track, on schedule with their lineup. They're gonna clean up the mid tower. Bob is gonna TP back in, but there will be no tower for him to defend.
That's tough. Yopaj is going to clean that one up. And you got to keep in mind, this was a lane that Bob, at some point, he was just crushing the TA in terms of CS. Now, his entire lane is littered with traps, littered with vision. How's he going to play this one?
First and foremost, that he's gonna need a sentry, but he's getting caught here. Oh no, the bushwhack does not land this time. So
It's a
Teams-
bit too far off from the trees.
Yeah, Teams is not going to be able to set up for this kill. So Solar Guardian is already available. So anything that's set up by the bushwhack now will have a follow-up.
You still kind of need a hero to be in range for that Solar Guardian to connect. And this is one of the problems we talked about in the draft, right? You don't actually have a hero that's all up in your face. Even the TA, to a certain extent, wants to keep that distance. So it still remains to be seen how the setup will actually play out. We'll probably see it very shortly. Aureus have a very tight schedule to follow. But we haven't really been talking about the Dazzle just yet. You mentioned that this is an excellent Dazzle game. There's no one to jump the back line. He didn't really have the best start, but he hasn't died, and that's what's important. Finishing up the urn already and looking towards the Aghanim Scepter. How do you sort of see the Dazzle playing into trying to counteract what Aureus are doing right now?
Now his job is basically to keep people alive, right? So if you're on the gyrocopter Dawn side, right, you're basically looking to burst people from the initial Solar Guardian. The TA jumps in, you Solar Guardian down, then Dawn, then you want to kill with the gyro. You throw all your spells and your right clicks on. But the Dazzle is going to be there to ruin everything, right? Either with a save from Grave, or he tries to stop the combination with the hex, you know, from the poison touch. There's a bunch of things that he can do, and he can do it from very, very far range, a safe distance, right? That's why it's important to always have a jump hero that can find him. I mean, TA, at some point, he's going to be able to do that, but meanwhile, Bushwhack lands this time. No Solar
In the
Guardian.
mid lane, a lot of damage. They don't want a Solar Guardian into a tier 2. Could be risky, especially not into a potential Echo Slam. Glimpse back, Yopaj. CML still doesn't have that Static Storm, so no way of really keeping it in place other than the shards. It is awkward though. You're surrounded on all sides. Yopaj now dropping low. Has that refraction still in the bushwhack to scare them off. It's only a 2-man unit here in the mid lane, but it's enough to fight off 3 from Execration and force reactions.
Space mate. And bot lane Palos still in his 1v1 against Dawn, but not a fair 1v1. Dawn has such a huge lead over the lifesteal right now. But things
really
are
good timing towards the Aghanim Scepter, honestly. Already has the Ogre Axe and... I mean,
but
look at Palos.
Things are looking a lot better for Palos now. He can actually sit in the lane and he has to
Oh,
find
here's
a creep.
Tims. He has to find a creep. He's trying to run his way towards the Ancients. Will he make it there in time? Bushwhack cuts the tree. That's clutch.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Nice Quelling Blade. Very nice. Could have died there. I actually think he definitely would have died there. Not could have died there.
Maybe if Tims was just a little bit earlier too, might have made the difference, but took a bit too long to make his way down to the bot lane, and Palos back up to full HP at least for now.
You know what? He would have killed him if he had one point in the scurry. Because he just needed a little bit.
Yeah, he was a bit too slow, right? He needed to make his way through the trees.
Yeah. This build is better for lane when you go.
A bit of a fight here, up on the top lane. They found Natsumi. Gyrocopter turning around with the damage onto Shanks though. At this early stage, they just don't have the damage to cut through the gyro. I thought for sure it'd be dead. Meanwhile, CML gets caught. Scam here to help heal up Tims. Was it just been a bushwhack and a couple of swings of the hammer?
Yeah, this early game is still going really well for Nico, you know, especially on the Dawn. He is snowballing out of control. 5 kills, very close to like halfway there, you know, to his Aghanims. And once you have the Aghanims, the TA is going to be able to play really aggressive, you know, especially when he gets dagger. He has opted to go for the more farm build right now, the tower hitting build, going for the Dragonlance first, so not getting the dagger right away. Not like Bob, you know, Bob yesterday he actually got dagger as his first item and he played very aggressive. This is more like a farming build for TA. Dragonlance into dagger. And they are going to hit their timings very soon. You know. As soon as the Aghanims on the Dawn comes online, it is going to be run at you all the time.
Your patch with the Dragonlance as well just needs the courier to deliver it. And then AD rune.
Oh,
He's
solo
going to be
kill.
looking for action.
Whew, he got him this time. He cuts the
What
trees,
the heck?
but it doesn't help his cause.
Did he just find him solo farming in the jungle?
Yeah, he was low. You know, that's how he found him.
Has been
Damn, this... Oh, I mean... Every Dota player has seen this situation before. Your carry just really not having anywhere to farm or anywhere to go. Kind of reminds me of Natsumi's situation from previous game. Blood Grenade slowing down Shanks. On the prowl for this poor little Tusk. Nice snowball to dodge away from the bushwhack, but is that going to get him out of here?
Whoa,
Still
nice
have a
one.
stomp on the centaur.
Max range.
Nice bushwhack. Still trying to run. It's kind of making them work for it a little bit here. Okay. Shanks. Okay.
Sharpshooter?
He does.
Okay.
He can shard block them.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
He has a Lotus.
I think they can't be bothered already at this point.
I mean, Tims is still. This has taken a minute. And now he did. Oh my god.
Dire scanning. Dire are scanning.
All right. Okay. Well, that just happened.
Space for your lifestealer to farm Radiance.
For real. I mean, that was like, what? 2 to 3 heroes chasing him around for the better duration of 1.5 minutes. And he makes it out, so it's not even like a sacrifice or anything. Crazy stuff. I mean, that all just happens because at the start of that engagement, I don't think Tims actually had the sharpshooter off cooldown. It only came down like later on when he already made it past the Twin Gate area. What can you do? The Shanks also going for the shot. We saw some Tusks like DJ prioritize going for the Helm Dom themselves for the Ghost Push. Not really much of a concept here because you want to give as much space and room for your cause. You don't want to be taking that space, so he's going for the shot, for his shots instead, just to maybe help out with pushing out the creep wave and all that. From a safe distance, you know?
This build is a little bit similar to, you know, how you get the shot on Snapfire right away to push the waves. I think the helm is maybe a little bit not so conventional for the pass. I think the shot,
Yeah, I'd agree.
the shot kind of I think feels more natural for this hero to
I
buy.
mean, it's also kind of nice versus TA and Gyro, right? Because until they get the Hurricane Pike on the Gyro, if you trap him in the shots, it's a long walk out, and the whole time you can get blocked in by a fissure as well. You can
Slowed?
get,
You're also
you know,
slowed.
yeah, true. It's not so easy to just run out of there. Shanks again. This was might be a bit of deja vu for him in this area of the map. The thing's slowing down a little bit. It's a 6k gold lead still for Aureus. Did you think they caught their timing? Do you think they managed to make enough out of the map within this time period?
Yes, but I still feel like their work is not done right. Team fight wise, the Earthshaker, Disruptor, they're still very, very strong. So they need to make sure that they get Roshan.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be either now or they wait. They probably go for it. Maybe the safer call is to wait for it to move to the bottom area, then they take it, you know.
Sure, that's like still 5 minutes away though.
Yeah.
Is that too much time to give to Execration? That's the question.
Yep.
There's a Blink Dagger on the TA that kind of reads to me like Yopaj wants to start making some plays. There he goes. Straight in, forcing a glimpse out. Bob taking half his HP in damage just from traps and auto attacks alone, but Tino was there to save him if need be.
It's time for a move for Bob. Blink, Facebook done. Needs to create some space for the Lifestealer. When they see the Hoodwink, should be a kill here. It's a big one.
It's a bit too deep this time round.
Wow.
Nice fissure to stop him off. That's a lot of damage coming up from the fissure.
700 gold for a pesky Hoodwink.
Wow. Okay. That's a recovery program if I've ever seen one.
I mean, this lead is also a little bit deceptive, right? I think the Dire's lead, if the Dire's lineup doesn't have a lead over the Radiant's lineup, it's going to be very hard for them to play the team fight, right? So they always need to be playing with some sort of lead in hand.
Also, I might be coping here, but I think to a certain extent, maybe the lead isn't as relevant because, yes, you finish the Aghanim Scepter on the Dawnbreaker. That's nice and dandy and all. But Axe doesn't really increase your farm speed. Compared to Tino, who's also finished his Axe, but that is an Aghanims that amplifies his net worth. Throughout this entire game so far, we haven't actually seen a Solar Guardian. So that has just been available because Aureus, like we said, they're missing a hero to really be in the middle of things for that to connect.
No stuns, that's what you get.
Yeah.
You know? Your only way of initiating is TA daggering in. In the middle, you slow them with the trap, you blink in, and then you have to hope your Solar Guardian lands. Or the most conventional one is just pushback into Solar Guardian.
Yeah, like you mentioned, it feels like Tims has to work overtime here. Looking at maybe challenging whoever comes to the bot lane to stop this push. It's TA.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Banging on the tier 2s, but forcing out the fortification. Doesn't seem like Execration are interested in this area of the map. They want to roam upwards and look for Natsumi on the Gyro. Could certainly be a good first use of the Solar Guardian. That Aghanims is going to provide a lot of extra healing. But Natsumi, he reads that move. He already TPs to the safest part in the triangle. There's no way that anyone has snuck past into this area unless they went through mid where there's still a tier 1 tower up. Good presence of mind there from the Gyrocopter to preserve himself, as it looks like it's going to be a free tier 2.
Yep, slowly but surely, the Tormentor timing is going to, come near. And the last two games, there has always been like a really, really crucial fight around the 20-minute Tormentor. So I don't think that it's going to be different, any different this game. 1 minute to go, teams are going to try to converge over the area. But Execration has already used TPs to come back bottom, so I would say that probably Aureus has the numbers advantage right now. They're going to be able to bring more heroes towards the top Tormentor.
It might be that Aureus just kind of stick around the bot lane to contest the Roche first. That feels like a much larger priority for the
that
TA
is
lineup.
like the normal trade. The Dire team gets the 20-minute Roche, the Radiant side gets Tormentor.
Right, so you're saying that, okay, if you knew the Roche was going to happen anyway, instead of trying to contest it with your Echo Slam, you're just going to go get a free
but
Tormentor.
with their lineup, they should be contesting. They shouldn't trade anything if you're Aureus, because you're ahead. You don't want to give them room to come back into the game, so you're not taking any trades. You are going to take everything away from them. You leave nothing for the Execration side, so they're thinking about contesting. They're smoking. Hu Wing is picking up a Lotus. T is already going through the gate. They definitely want to fight here. Dawn is under vision. If Execration can find the Dawn, that would be an excellent start to the fight.
The supports aren't in position to break this smoke. They're making a beeline straight for the Dawn. Shanks on the front line, a little bit off the mark. The courier might have betrayed the TA's location, though Tim's on the back line doesn't find the bushwhack, but finds Bob. This is troublesome, Niall. It's daytime, and the Dawnbreaker's gonna be doing that additional damage. In comes Natsumi, not the initiation that you wanted. CML already looking to fall out of line. Solar Guardian coming in just to save Tims, like you said. They're not gonna give them any chance, but Tim still does go down. Bob looking for an opportunity to Echo Slam, more like looking for an opportunity to just blink out, but that means there's no counter initiation available. Palos out of the rage. Maybe they're just trying to bait, maybe they're just trying to give Bob some time, but the daytime vision in the Watcher allows for the flat cannon to tag the Earthshaker. He still can't blink in for the counter initiation. They see this Dazzle real body and they are going to threaten him. Still has the grave available. They're still trying to bait, still trying to buy time, but Bob, he just can't make it happen. He has to TP out and escape, and CML might be next to fall. You don't have a hammer for another 4 seconds. Nico will try and sneak his way past the gate. Can you find him? Doesn't look likely. It's just going to be a Tormentor going their way. They sacrifice Tims and they sacrifice Schem, but they get a couple of big kills while they're at it.
Yeah, they keep the snowball going. They get the shard right now on Tims, which is gonna be, I guess, really huge with the gyro. You're buffing up a lot of the damage with gyro, and now Roshan is on the table. You have Desolator
That fight
completed.
just happened at like the worst possible time, right? Like there were so many instances where Bob was just trying to kite away to get his blink refresh so he could jump in with an echo, but every single time, whether he was tagged by a bushwhack, tagged by Schem, or just a stray auto attack from the gyrocopter, he couldn't find the connection.
Yeah, the smoke was just not so well executed. They were taking the fight on the, I think on the low ground. They went down. I think the better idea was to probably hold the high ground on Execration side. I think the moment they walk down to the low ground, you're exposing yourself to all the TA traps. You're under vision, the wards and everything, and the fight was just gonna be really difficult. You know, if Bob doesn't get a good opening with the Echo Slam, the team fight is going to be really, really hard right now. And Disruptor, I guess he was late also because he used his TP and he had to walk from bot all the way forward, so he wasn't there for the initial fight.
You gotta keep in mind as well, I briefly mentioned it, but I think this is an aspect of Dawnbreaker people don't talk about anymore. When they changed her innate, the second it turns daytime is when she's the most powerful. She not only has a damage increase, but the vision increase is what allowed Aureus to operate so cleanly in that fight. And just like that, ages over to the gyrocopter, 15k gold lead. Execration in this game number 3, they tried to go for an off-kilter pick to win their lanes, but the Dazzle Tusk never really got to that point because Tusk was too busy babysitting their failing bot lane.
He didn't have a choice. I think if he didn't move bot, Lifesteal wouldn't be able to play out the game. And all the small little things add up, you know, the Disruptor getting killed at level 1. That was kind of also the thing that snowballed the game out.
On to Shanks. Nice little catch there. He tries for the shards, but the snowball isn't gonna do him any favors. Just bring him back into the hands of the Gyro, who has that Aghanims and will finish him off with a Hunter's Boomerang. Nicely done from Tims. You talked about this Hoodwing needing to work overtime. He has put in the work all right. Since the laning stage, he's just been landing bushwhack after bushwhack. Clean stuff.
Now they're going to hunt down the Lifesteal, but Lifesteal, oh, he didn't. Oh no. Okay, if he raged, he would have been the same, I guess, because of the solar cannon. This is a huge, huge kill. Can he find a creep? Nope. And this game, you see a huge difference, right? If Nico is having a good start, he is a completely different player. If he wins his lane.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Aureus definitely in full control of the map right now. They're taking every inch of the map away from Execration. No ancient camps for you, they're farming everything. All they're left is with the breadcrumbs.
I mean, this is exactly what you were saying, right, Winter? Nico, less of a consistent player, more of feast or famine, and he is eating good. While the side of Execration have nothing but crumbs, they're having a full course meal. This Dawnbreaker has looked monstrous with the backup of Tims. Now Natsumi. It's a, you know, last game his gyrocopter didn't look too good, but like you said, it was largely because the axe didn't really have much impact.
Do or die now. This is do or die. This has to connect for Bob. Like, he is 1-1 and 0. Hasn't been able to accomplish much in this game.
Yeah. It all started going wrong for him after that rune grab, right? The fact he didn't get the regen and then he just started falling off a little bit. He was dominating the TA and then it just turned around very quickly. Can you really afford to just slam a gyro though with an Aegis and a whole team behind him? It feels like you need to find the back line, but who's giving you the vision right now?
You know, they don't have an observer ward here, so they have no idea who's in the area. This is definitely looking really, really bad right now for Execration. I mean, sure, they might have the better team fight lineup, but with this deficit that they have, it might not matter at all, you know? Like, they're just getting they're getting overwhelmed in terms of net worth. The heroes have way more items than them, you know. TA is going to have BKB soon. How do you deal with a BKB TA? And
They haven't really set up a situation that the Dazzle can contribute yet, right? Like, I feel like we were talking about how this game is pretty solid because the Dazzle can prevent people from dying. The problem is people aren't dying in these team fights. They're just kind of getting pushed back and picked off, and they're not able to chain the engagement that they need together. You don't really need to kill the Earthshaker if you're just preventing his Blink Dagger and his initiation the whole time. Oh, up on the high ground. Did they spot Bob? Atos. Bushwhack. He's in trouble. Hunters. Oh my god.
there was once a Bob, and now there is none.
There was once a Bob, there was once an Execration in these close qualifiers, but it might not be the case for much longer. Satanic complete now for Natsumi. Just taking quite a bit of damage to the minus armor from the Weave at Tino. Laying into him a little bit, glimpse back. You don't want to lose that Aegis for nothing, but they also don't want to commit to the gyro without their Earthshaker. He has buyback, but it feels so awkward. In comes Yopach, ready to swing. You still really don't want to buyback on the Shaker, and because of that, you just lose your offlaner. BKB used from the TA, understanding that he's so strong right now and he can just go in like that. And they didn't even need to use the Solar Guardian.
And they have to just reset with the Enchantress healing up the gyro a little bit. Aegis is gonna run out, so gyro's gonna heal no matter what. And now back they go, you know, finish off that melee Rex.
Nothing to be worried about. Even though your Aegis runs out, you still got the Satanic now. You still got a Daedalus cooking up in the back pocket. Natsumi is so farmed, but look at the net worth. Right behind him are the other two cores of Aureus. You don't got 2 cores, you got 3 cores. Even Nico himself scaling up to be somewhat of a carry. Shard and Axe complete. Looking very strong. This feels like it has to be $1 million type Echo Slam for them to turn things around here. Execration. The team that made it for Southeast Asia to EWC couldn't really quite do the job for TI. Decided to make a change, bring in Bob, and he's been performing for them this entire tournament. But where they need him the most, faltering a little bit. Can't even really blame him. It's not entirely his fault. They just kind of drafted themselves a really tough situation. Natsumi now on the high ground. Starting to gun things out. The Walrus Punch is there, but can he really take this fight? Natsumi just lays into the Tusk, and the Grave is only going to be a temporary solution. It's not gonna save him. No buyback for the Tusk. That was the softest initiation you could possibly make, and Natsumi just shrugs it off and laughs. Pathetic.
I mean, they have to
Don't
go.
have enough time as a lifesteal. You gotta try and go now. Natsumi. Satanic up in 3 seconds. Yopach jumping in. Where's your Echo Slam? Where's Bob? Oh, you lost CML. You got no silence. And you got no Earthshaker because he has to blink out. He's spotted by a trap. Yopach knows exactly where he is. Aureus, they're just cleaning up racks for free.
Yeah, Bob just waited too long. I felt like he just needed to try and go, and then have to try to burst with the Static Storm, you know.
Bob is dead, by the way. Grave, keeping him alive for now. Shank's there with the shield. Oh my goodness. That was like 50 HP survival. Thought for sure he was going to go down there, but with the full respawns of Execration, Aureus are going to show respect. But it's a 1k gold per minute lead at the moment, at the 29-minute mark. If it just feels like you were worried that this Aureus lineup, they would not have a mid-game to play, but I think they skipped the mid-game completely with how far ahead they are. I mean, blinking, you'll miss it. These carries, they're already 4 items in. Blink Dagger, Deso, BKB, Hurricane Pike finished for the TA. The Daedalus finished for the Gyrocopter. He's just missing one last item. And when did we get here?
Way too early for Execration's point of view. The game escalated too much, you know, just based on how the lanes went, you know. They lost the side lanes way too hard. I mean, Oshaker was kind of the only one doing okay, but he couldn't really find much impact in the game, you know, just one kill, 2 deaths, 0 assists right now. That is not something that you want, you know, as a Shaker. I felt like he was kind of heavyweighting a lot, you know, when it came down to the team fights. He didn't really find the openings that he needed to find.
It's hard for him because he knows he has to land $1 million Echo. Anything less was not going to do the job. And now CML, he is done in. Tino manages to make it to the base, but can't really say the same for the 2 supports. Shanks getting picked off by Yopach all alone out here. Look at how aggressive TA is playing. This kind of reminds me of the glory days of mid-TA. Maybe it's still a thing in the right lineup because it has looked splendid in the 2 games it's been brought out. Might be draft dependent, Bob. He has to try something, but it's bright as day out here, and Palos has to rely on the Grave, turn around onto Natsumi, but you can't win this fight. Tino forced to use up, but Yopach can kill him when he comes down, using the Infest to save the Dazzle. That's all you get, but that's mega creeps. Aureus forcing Execration on their last legs here. You might just have to settle for Scam. He's gonna get glimpsed back in, but the Solar Guardian, we almost forgot about that. Look at the damage. They just get melted, and GG is called. Execration will get slammed out of this close qualifiers, as Aureus will be the ones to bring the heat to Boom in the grand finals. A full best of 5 between those 2 teams. A full best of 5 between Jabs and Tim's former teammates on Boom just at TI, splitting ways now. And between the both of them, they'll have to decide which one is the representative for